welcome to another Viscera video. I am Viscera, and this is Visions of War. We are just getting into a new war experience, apparently, that Scopely decided to put out. It's called A Bold New Era for Alliance War. And this is a little video on what things you might need to know going forward, how this is kind of going to work, and what things to watch out for. So, without further ado, let's get into reading this blog that just came out and try to go into some of those things. So, Alliance War is a new slew of upcoming updates designed to make every attack more strategic, more readable, and more exciting than ever. First big thing you need to notice is transition to Alliance War agreed screen to a 2D helicarrier. This is so that the graphics and stuff aren't so jumbly. You don't have the lag, things like that. The time it takes forever to like zoom in or do things when you go in. We're all creating new ways to think about each battle and laying the foundation. Even bigger updates come later this year. So there's going to be changes, which sometimes are good, sometimes are horrendous. So we'll find out what those are like later on. Hopefully they don't ruin war for me. We all know that's my favorite part of this game. So anyways, stronger visual experience. A shift to 2D also opens the door for exciting presentation updates. You can swap helicarrier art more easily. That could be cool because some of the art that they have is just absolutely amazing. Tie Alliance War visuals to ongoing ages, so you could have like a nihilist taking down a helicarrier, I guess. Connect war presentation to broader game events. It just means you can put it wherever you want in the game. Tie more milestones to it. Hopefully not going over the 10 attacks per war and make it so you have to do 12, 13 attacks per war. That would suck because a lot of us clear with the good efficiency, and so if you go more than 10, which 10 attacks per war means 24 people, 240 rooms, you're able to clear everything with 10 attacks per person. If you go beyond that 240 or beyond those 10 attacks, then you have people fighting for spots and you have to purposely lose if you're going perfect with efficiency. So that kind of thing sucks. Introduce a UX improvement so make war easier to read and navigate. UX just means user experience, so that's just make it so it's more of a player friendly for you to kind of look around and see things. It's also going to make sure that the interaction and stuff is better for us as engaging in war, so it's just quicker and easier for us to use. So they say faster load times and more. So because it's 2D, they're not having to load the 3D graphics. It's going to be faster, and I'll show you that real quick. If you go to Alliance War, everybody remembers how the load screen used to pop up. Now you go into it, and we're there. Boom, right in. As soon as you click on the button, we're in it. Okay, so a lot of behind-the-scenes improvements. We don't need to know that. That's whatever. New room callouts. 2D HD carrier introduced new room callouts, made decisions matter more. Included are KO point modifiers. We'll get to these later. They're kind of strange, but they're kind of cool at the same time. New rule that changes the number of points earned when attacking that helicarrier room. Some points reward an extra point for each KO. Others rooms reduce the points gained. Choosing the right target is more important than ever. So all of you that have people that just go willy-nilly hitting wherever in your war and you're an Alliance War leader, wow, prepare to really kind of buckle down on that stuff because it's not going to be the same as it was before. And when you have one of those teams put all of their shield teams or their shittiest teams in the thing that actually is the most important room because they know most of your people aren't going to want to hit that because they're not going to want to waste attacks, you're going to have to tell those people, yes, this is what we're hitting, and it doesn't matter what you think that your points should be for war. This is what it is for the best of the team. So those kind of things you're going to have to get through as a leader, which kind of sucks, but it's something to get used to. It's what this is going to be. Chasing one bonus can mean missing even bigger opportunities somewhere else. Yeah, so that's what that's for. And we'll get into that again later. We'll talk about those things. So full floor bonus modifiers. This is kind of cool. This is something they should have done a long time ago. I kind of like this. It says flight decks are going to remain unchanged, right? So your flight decks are just going to be what they are. This also might be a way for you to flip the script on how you think about putting defenses in. I know I'm going to think about it a little bit more when I'm setting up my team's defense, like who players, go what rooms. Because you might want your strongest players now to be in flight decks so that as you go down, it goes 5, 10, 5, 15, and 25, I think is what it is. We'll get there later. But the bottom one gets a bigger percentage of a boost. So if you boost the bottom one 25%, it's pretty much equal to a room that would be in the flight deck. everybody is equal in power, and that might be tougher for an opponent to get through. But anyways, again, that's a strategy you might think of as being a leader, being a war officer, whatever it is. You might want to talk amongst your alliance to do that kind of a thing. Bonuses scale by floor. Yeah, we just talked about that. Okay. Attacker modifiers arrive. So, attacker modifiers. This is something different. But the thing is, if you're doing attacker modifiers, are they going to make it so that we can lock in war team's ISO? Because if I can lock in my war offense ISO, and having a modifier attached to it might be nice to have that. So that way I know that I want these guys as strikers or these guys as raiders and don't have to switch it on the war button as we go in. Even though we are saving some load-in screen time with the 2D rather than the 3D, it is still nice to be able to go there and have a save team that it's also saved the ISOs. So I could have, say, Mercs for money, right? And we'll get into something with Mercs for money later. But I have Mercs for money. Say I want, one of them, my Panda Pool, I want as a fortifier. Another one, I want him as a raider because he goes first. He's going to put down vulnerables so that somebody else could double tap right off the bat. So little things like that, having two different versions of my team, being able to save with different ISOs might be kind of nice. I wish they would do something like that. We'll see if they do maybe in the future. But anyways, attack modifiers in a helicarrier, right? Buff the enemy attacking the room, which is kind of cool. Add more variety to room strategy, yes. Make attack order and target selection even more important, which was I was just saying. The different ISOs would make that better because that way I know that, hey, Panapool goes first. I want him as an actual striker in this one because this person's going to have vulnerable, blah, blah, blah. Or I want him as a raider so I can put crits down so I could double tap that person to get through that thing or clear that many buffs or whatever it may be. It would be kind of nice to be able to lock in our ISO for our attacking teams. Like I said, we'll see if we can get to that. Combined with the KO modifiers, the changes make each room more impactful. Yeah, it's going to. Just beginning, and that's the part I'm worried about. The small changes are always nice. It's when they start to get a big head and think, oh, we can do all these things, that they usually ruin things like Crucible. It was fine to begin with. They added a couple little tweaks where we're going to put modifiers in different rooms. Cool, that was cool. And then all of a sudden they made completely different rules for every different room. Oh my gosh, and it changed every 2 weeks, and it's just so hard to keep track of. And yeah, it's a nightmare for leaders, officers, if you're going to do that in war, because it's this different strategy every 2 freaking weeks, or every 4 weeks, or every 3, 6, however many weeks they decide to make it. Not going to be fun coming from an alliance standpoint. So please don't do that. Just set something, leave it there for a year, and let's go through it from there. Let's not make little tweaks as we go along. It's a stupid idea. First wave alliance go Friday the 17th, which is what I just showed you. We're on that day. So I just showed you how quickly that got into there, right? And the new room rules take effect on the 19th, right? So that's usually the case. It's usually Sunday, which they call it Monday, but it's Sunday. It's Monday for Australians, So it's Sunday for us here in the States. But yeah, that's when usually the rules go in, so you can kind of look at things and tweak things a little bit. But it's kind of giving us a heads up, right? Which is nice. I wish they would have done that with the coring the orbs for the Never mind. We're not going to go into that. Let's go into this. New war season, Shadow War. So these are those generic room buffs that are going to go in every room that are there the whole war until all rooms are destroyed, right? These are those global room buffs that are there. And when all the rooms are destroyed, you don't need the buffs, so they're gone, is what I'm saying. So on attack, against an enemy with heal block, Shadow Conclave, new tag. Also, allies perform an ISO attack, right? So they get to double tap on something with heal block. That'll come in handy because, they put down heal block. This is a big one. So this one's going to be fun, and this is what I was talking about a second ago. I'll get to with the Mercs. Deadpool, Dawkins, Captain America, Wolverine, and Spider-Man gain retcon Mercs for money, out of time, and web warrior traits. So Wolverine can be part of Mercs for money. This is pretty cool. I don't know if this is going to be available for something for us to practice with, war practice. But if it is live so we can practice in war practice, it might be kind of fun to see Wolverine in Mercs for money. We all know OML is strong. We get that, okay? But having the ability to put 2 Wolverines in one team together is just going to be fun kinetically, or whatever the word is, for us comic book nerds. To be able to have old and new Wolverine together is going to be rad if we can actually do that. We have a different team that I'm using for Mercs, but how fun would it be to actually try that team out? And that would be kind of cool to do. Also, a possibility of this is for retcon. So it does not say attackers, right? This just says period. So the new Spider-Man, the new Captain America, something, because the new one, you got gear 20, right? Everybody pretty much got a gear 20 for free, Captain America. So can we plug Captain America in on defense or Spider-Man on defense with retcon if maybe our She-Hulk is under, built, or our Gwenpool is underbuilt, or we don't have Jeff yet? Now we have 5 members. Whatever the case may be, it might be kind of interesting to look at something like that too, especially lower alliances. I know top alliances really aren't going to change that much. It's just going to be what we have as far as team-wise. But with my beginner account, with a couple of the other lower accounts that I have, it might be fun to kind of try some of this stuff out. Also, the possibility of using Dawkins on retcon on defense with Deadpool could be fantastic. And then putting like maybe Gwenpool in Dawkins' place on Mercs for Money with Wolverine. Just a thought, if that's the way it is. I don't know if it's offense and defense or just defense. It doesn't really say. It just says global room. So we'll find out. We'll find out when it gets live. We'll find out when it comes to practice, possibly all that fun stuff. Deadpool, Dawkins, Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man. So the friends, right, are all boosted, of course, because that's the ones that just let you get gear 20 on. So they're all going to be boosted. On heel, Daring Warrior. Here we go. Here's the team that they put out that nobody wants to build. At least I don't. Gain speed up. It's a Crucible team. I don't care about it. Gain speed up. 20% primary stats to defending Shadow Conclave and Retcon allies. Okay, so here we go. So if you guys remember the last war season, let's go into there and see the last war season. This does take a little bit longer, I've noticed, clicking on this. We don't have a load time, but it just sits there for a little while. The last season rules, if you guys remember, it said these teams, right? Nowhere, it had primary stats, 20% Retcon, right? So now we're getting 20% Shadow, Conclave, and Retcon. So that means the team you had before in Insidious 6 are no longer getting that boost. So they have been pushed out of being a defensive team, right? Because the new one is Retcon and Shadow Conclave. So no more boost on Insidious 6. So that might be something you'd want to pay attention to when setting up your defenses this week, taking them off of defense. I put out my own war counter sheet for all the people in our alliances, and I put it out a little early, saw this coming, of teams that they should have on defense, and had Insidious be one of those that should be on defense. But if you do have it on offense, here's what you can use to do stuff with. But it should be off of defense, But anyways, it's what it is. Sometimes things like that happen. I kind of saw it come in, but at the same point in time, it's still a good defensive team if you don't have other options. But if you're able to move it to offense, then this is what it can counter, just so people can start getting used to it, since I didn't figure a lot of them would stay on defense. But anyways, yeah. So, and then we got primary stats to attacking allies, right? And that's just like a generic one. That's just kind of something that's always been there. The primary stats to attacking allies. That's just to help your attackers because defense is getting so much boost. So anyways, so yeah, that's a generic one there. So floor bonuses. So this is what it is. 5, 15%, and this is not counting flight decks, right? So we got the second row, right? Floor 1 is what they're calling it, which is the second row. 5% base stats, then 15, then 25 at the bottom. Okay? So like I said, it might be a way to kind of flip, right? You have your bigger teams, put them at the top. They're not getting bonuses, but they're going to be just as strong, right? Because of all the other bonuses go down. And then your bottom row be actually your strongest team, right? Because these are just floor bonuses. These are not going to be cleared until the room's completely cleared. So your weakest teams could go at the bottom so that everybody's pretty much the same power. That could be a strategy if you want to. Or you can make that big team at the bottom just be that much bigger and give them another quarter, of a percent of stats to their team. I mean, you got a 10 million powered team. It's now a 12.5 million powered team. That's a big boost. So it might be something you want to do that way. It's up to you. It's up to what your guys' peoples want to do. I know we're gonna have something within our alliances to go along with it, so we'll see. Okay. So here we go. Medbay, defending infestation, still getting bonuses. I love it. Infestation is one of those defenses that's been around forever and is still getting every war season some love, and I love to see it. Defending infestation and champion allies, champion. Less love to see that. Pretty much a shit team, especially because we're going to break it apart anyways. You know, Moon Girl and Nova going other places. Champion allies get 15% base stats, but say you have a big Starjammers in your medbay and you want to put Nova on that team, he gets that 15% base stat. Say you have a big Moon Girl in your medbay and you want to leave her on a absolute A force, guess what? She gets that 15% bonus. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't have to be the whole team. Finally, you guys remember what they did last time. The following full defending teams will provide a 30% primary. So stupid to make it cookie cutter. This is defense for war. We want to be able to have fun, right? So they made it do the full team. Well, they're not doing that this time, thankfully. It's just the same defending infestation and champion allies. You know what this also means? Those yo-yos that want to put BTS on Alpha Flight with Shadow King, guess what? Infestation is BTS. He's getting an extra boost right there. And it doesn't have to be with his whole team. It just makes him just a pop stick when he goes off. He's going to go first, he's going to go fast, and he's going to whomp some people if they don't have their teams leveled evenly. So, yeah. So, I mean, there's some cool buffs there with Medbay. And it's global, right? That means it goes all over the place. But, you know, Medbay is where you want that focus to be, because if they take that out, then the whole buff goes away. And that's why I'm saying if they're in Medbay. But it's global. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere, okay? Armory. So here we get into the points, right? Global, 5 less KO points for each enemy defeated, okay? So what that means is the KO points is how you get like your ISO and those kinds of things for war. They also give you your total points for your war score. So when you're done, that 95, 365, something like that, 365, 380 or whatever points you get. This is giving you less of those KO points for that, right? And they even it out, right? They even it out. It's going to be set the same overall, but it makes it less and more. So you could have more, you could have less, depending on what rooms you take out. So gain less KO points for each enemy defeated. So this is Armory. So it's going to make their team, right, want to go after your Armory first, in order to make it so that they get 5 more points when that is gone, okay? Attacking Liberty and Undying allies get 15% base stats, and that's also global, and that's also Armory. Like Undying needed more help. But they got it. Liberty, that's kind of nice, right? Because Liberty is going to pack a little bit more of a punch. It's going to help against those absolute A-Force teams, especially with Moon Girl getting the 15%. It kind of equals that out. So that would be kind of cool. Security, on spawn, defense down, same as before. Bridge, 10 points more KO for each enemy defeated. So, Bridge, 10 more KO points for each enemy defeated. So, what I'm thinking that is for us, right? Offensively, we get 10 more KO points if the bridge stays up. As soon as you take that off, we are earning 10 less points per, is what I believe that's going to mean. If in war, for some reason, that is different, that's strange, but that's what I would think it would be. So as long as our bridge stays up, so this one's more of a defensive one, right? Armory's giving your team 5 less points if you leave it up. You got to take it off so it makes it so you get 5 more. This one is for us on offense, right? Our bridge, we're getting 10 points more per attack if we have it up. So you want to take it off, so we're getting 10 points less. Defending Starjammer allies gain 25% base stats. So again, that can go with the Starjammer. Remember, Nova, Starjammer, so he's getting 25 and 15, right? So that's quite a bit. Yeah, it's 40 added together, but I don't know if they stack on top of each other and it's like, 18.5% more, or if it's 25 first and then the 15 and it's like 28 point something or whatever. I don't know. So some of you math people have to figure that one out. So we got Hangar again. Here's the global, 5 less KO points for each enemy defeated. So again, Hangar is one we're going to want to completely clear first, right? So we got Armory, and I'm writing this down for my own thing as well. You guys probably want to do the same. Armory and hangar we want to go to first, right? These are the ones we want to go first. So these are the ones we want to get rid of so we don't have to worry about them. And then the next one is reactor. Unfortunately, right? We all hate reactor, but it's one of those that we're going to want to get rid of first now. They do still have the disrupt on attacking allies, so fuck all that noise. We're going to see a lot of reactors at the bottom with huge freaking teams that all take teams that are going to have to get buffs on spawn. So they're all going to be there to make them extra nasty. Back to hangar, attacking Avenger and Winter Guard allies gave 25% base stats. So Avengers, there's a wide range of Avengers, right? Avengers, everything from Secret Avengers, right? Maria Hill, Sharon, all that stuff. All the way up to Young Avengers, which are Squirrel Girl and those types of things. So this is attacking, though, which is interesting because, of course, she's not going to count on that. Neither does Chavez, which is a sneaky defensive tune. So I don't really know where the Avengers, other than Mighty Avengers, is going to be there. But yeah, Mighty Avengers are going to need another 25% base stat. Remember last war, Mighty Avengers had, where are they at? They're somewhere in the middle here. There it is, 30% primary stats to attacking Mighty Avenger, right? Liberty, A-Force, Undying. So your Cap Sam is going to be Avenger, right? So Cap Sam is going to have the 25% base stats plus the Liberty 15% base stats. So he's going to be a thick boy. That AoE is going to do huge damage on his first turn. And then Winter Guard is just going to do Winter Guard things, right? We're going to need more help from Winter Guard. So that's a good thing. But I don't know who else they're talking about with Avengers other than Mighty Avengers. Maybe Swordmaster? Is that the one that some people want to plug and play into Mighty Avengers to make them suck more? I don't know. I think it's that guy. But anyways, in Cap Sam, those are the only really ones I can think of, but I don't know. Then Reactor, and they have that thing still. God, I wish they'd get rid of that. Reactor's such a pain in the butt. So Barracks. So this does it and adjacent. So what adjacent means is it means, and there's some up there too, security has adjacent, the Starjammer has adjacent, but let's go into it now. So what adjacent means is if I'm looking at war, right, and I see, in this case, reactor, right? So adjacent reactor is going to be flight deck 2, hangar, barracks, and bridge. Those are all adjacent, right? It's not going to count engineering or flight deck 3, right? Those are diagonal from it. Adjacent means it's touching a flush side. So hangar, reactor, barracks, flight deck 2, bridge, those guys are all adjacent to reactor, right? Not reactor itself, but you know what I mean. Those 4. Okay, so if I'm an engineering down here, right? Engineering is just going to have hangar, bridge, and cargo. So we're going to want to take as much as we can out of the adjacent, and we're going to have to probably move our rooms around a little bit to make it so that we get the most bang for our buck with adjacent, because defending Astral, which, Astral is a pretty good defensive team, does have some counters, and then X-Men. So I think you guys know who is included in X-Men, but gets 15% base stats, right? And so last time when we had these things, we did have some X-Men stuff, but it was nothing like this. And actually, I don't think it was. I think it was the war before that we had X-Men. I think it was the war season before we had X-Men had bonuses, not this last one. So that's going to be kind of cool. But you know who is an X-Men, and you know who having 15% base stats is going to be something. So practice. Make sure you know what it can take out and look for those numbers, right? Because if it doesn't double tap on you know who, then you could be having some problems there, yeah? All right, so cargo. So cargo, I think, is going to be like bridge. As long as our cargo stays up, we are getting 5 more KO points for each enemy defeated, right? So I think that's where that stays up too. So we're going to have to concentrate on, we want cargo, right? And we want our bridge to stay up as long as possible is kind of what this is meaning. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where this is coming to. And on spawn, applied offense up to defending allies. Right? It's just doing its normal thing. It doesn't have any global bonuses for the rest of everything. Remember how before cargo would give, actually it's right here. So cargo would give this one right, where is it? The bottom one, the bottom room. 30% primary stats to attacking, I think. No. It's up here. This is it. The 10% primary stats to defending allies, right? That was from Cargo. Oh, from Cargo Bay. There, it says it right there. From Cargo Bay, the 10%. That's what it used to give. As you can see now, there is no more of that universal giving bonus to. It's interesting. Now it's based on points, not based on what it's doing for the group. So some teams are going to be lower that you're going to see, whereas before, like Armory and Cargo were giving boosts to everybody else adjacently. Like if you go to Armory, let's go look at what Armory was, right? This is all going to change around now. But what Armory used to do for the room adjacent, right? 20 primary stats to all defending allies, and then an additional 20% to primary stats to tech. So that was the adjacent thing I was talking about. That used to do that. Doesn't do it no more. Cargo used to give adjacent or to global boosts to everybody. Doesn't do it anymore. So that's going to change, right? Everybody gets the boost now. The only one that's doing the base stats are like this Hangar is doing it to Winter Guard and Avengers, right? So that's changed. Hangar is now your go-to, right? So that's a priority. Again, marking some of this stuff down myself so I can remember these things. Bridge is giving to adjacent, right? 25% boost stats. And then Barrack is giving adjacent, right? Barrack, remember, write this stuff down, you guys, is a primary because it's giving 15 to adjacent, right? 15% to an adjacent base stats. That's big. Engineering on spawn, defense up, defending allies. Not really anything different. I wonder if security, defense down. Those are the same. Defense up, defense down, the same with security and engineering. Cool. All right. And I guess that's all the things, the news they have. So when you're looking at your war now and you're looking at your teams, all this is going to change. We're going to have to protect, right, our cargo and our bridge, right? These are the rooms we're going to want to protect from now on. And then armory, hangar, and reactor are the ones we're going to want to save, right? So those are ones we're going to want to save and we're going to want to go after at the same time. That's our first priority to take out. Where it was cargo and armory and then bridge, it is now armory, hangar, and reactor. So those are important little things to know, okay? Team-wise, like I said, there's going to be a room that gives adjacent buffs to a certain guy that's an X-Man tag. And according to what they had said, we're going to get some fun little tag kind of stuff with these friends that we just got at Gear 20. Deadpool, Doc, and Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man are going to get Retcon, Mercs for Money, Out of Time, and Web Warrior traits. So if they're on offense, I'm not sure. They don't really clarify. They just say global, so it might only be defense, but it's something to mess around with when you're in war to see if it actually works. Because if it does work on offense as well, being able to use Wolverine with Mercs for Money is going to be so fun on my beginner account, my lower accounts, just to be able to, go claws all in. That's going to be a cool thing to do, especially if we can have him as a striker, and then OML as a skirmisher. Go striker Wolverine, skirmisher Wolverine, and striker Wolverine is going to be so cool. Especially if you can ult with them, kill somebody, and then do it again, and then they go take off. It's going to be fun to watch. And with the abilities that they have and the art that they have, as beautiful as it is, it's really fun to watch those things, slow it down to one speed, and actually get some enjoyment out of those kinds of stuff. So with the quicker load in, that's nice. With some of these little fun little things like this, that's kind of cool if it works on both ways. If it's only on defense, it's kind of boring, but I get where they're coming from. I think the floor bonuses is probably the coolest thing, and then also after that is the KO. So that's going to change a lot. It's going to make the scores way different too, so we're not just like, okay, if we clear, we're going to win by 2, or if we don't clear fast enough, we're going to win. By the way, in our alliance, the top alliance, we won 1 out of 4 wars, and our combined point difference between those 4 wars was 10 points. So that's pretty crazy when you go 1 and 3, and it's by 10 points. Positive. Yeah. So that's kind of nuts. We lost by 2, we lost by 10, and we lost by 15, I think, something like that. It was crazy. It's like, but our plus negative, we're plus 10 on 1 and 3, and we're plus 10. and the other one was a close match as well. So this is going to shake that up a little bit and make it so it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's interesting. It's new. Hopefully, some of the stuff is offense and defense rather than just being defense. I do like the floors, and I do like the KO thing. I think that's kind of cool. But this is some important knowledge to know, and some important things for you to go off with your team and with your war leaders, especially to get to know these little bonuses. Feel free to reach out to me anytime on here on YouTube. Please comment and all that stuff. Please subscribe if you can. Give me a like if you want to. That's fine. This is all for free. I don't get paid for YouTube stuff. So, and if you want to DM me, feel free to anytime. I think my link is in this thing. And if not, see a little crack in here in the corner. It's Viscera17 Sable. You can find me there on Discord. Just send me a PM and ask any questions. We're always looking for people too. We got 15 alliances that are in our family, and we're always trying to add more people. So if you have an alliance that's failing and you need some help with the recruiting, reach out, let me know. Maybe we can get you into our family and help you out. But as always, I'm Viz, telling it like it is, and thank you for coming by. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.